President Obama says that he will veto any approach to slashing the budget through spending cuts alone. For the White House, that means new revenue, $1.5 trillion of it. Republicans say it's a non-starter. Jack Lew is director of the Office of Management and Budget and joins us now from the White House. Thanks so much, Jack. Good to see you. Let's talk about the numbers. First of all, the president is proposing something that Republicans say they won't even consider, the tax increases. Where do you go from there?
You know, I think if you look at the package the president put out today, Andrea, he put out a balanced package, a package that hits the goal that we all agreed on in a way that's fair. It includes numerous proposals that are very difficult on the spending side, both in terms of health care and other mandatory programs. In the deficit bill, the debt bill, we agreed to discretionary cuts that put us back with the tightest discretionary spending since Eisenhower was president. I think that the challenge now is to get the full job done, to put us on a path where we're dealing with the debt and the deficit so we get to a place where the deficit is truly sustainable, and that means getting it under 3%. Our plan will get us to 2.3% of the economy. I think that the challenge is now to work together to put together something balanced. There's a joint committee that has a goal of $1.5 trillion of deficit reduction. The president upped the bar. He said, let's get the job done. Let's get to a total of 4, counting the spending cuts we've already agreed to. We think we should work together to get that done.
Jack, the Buffett rule, the so-called Buffett rule, the tax on the millionaires, that doesn't raise that much money in the overall scheme of things. So is that really a populist ploy to try to get the Democratic base energized?
I think that at its core, it's about fundamental fairness. We're talking about an array of policies here that will put burdens on federal workers and retirees from the military, on farmers through agriculture programs, in health care, in broad ways. It's just not fair to have a system where millionaires and billionaires pay taxes at a lower rate than the people who are middle class working in the same firms. And, there's been a lot of discussion today about small business entrepreneurs. People who take regular income are not going to be that severely affected by this. This is really about hedge fund managers and others whose incomes are primarily in the form of dividends and capital gains and the like. And it's just not fair. And the president's called for this Buffett rule as part of comprehensive tax reform so that we can reset where we're getting our revenue from. He's put out specifics that get you to the goal that he has set out. And we now want to work with Congress to get that done.
Well, speaking of working with Congress, the president also says that he will not sign an extension of the Bush tax cuts, which are due to expire at the end of 2012, to include the high earners. But if he lets the entire Bush tax cut expire, that would be, in effect, raising taxes on the middle-class people that he says he wants to protect.
I think the president's made clear that he supports maintaining the tax cut for middle-class Americans. He does not support keeping a tax cut in place for the very wealthiest. That's something we have some time to work our way through. But this budget plan that the president sent to Congress today is built on that principle. It would keep the tax cut for middle-class Americans. It would not extend it for people who are at the very top. Now, that's what we think is the right and fair way to go.
Jack, I know you were Deputy Secretary of State for the first part of the Obama administration, but certainly you've worked with all of these people. You've been on deputies committees with them as well. What about the Ron Suskind book that says that, in brief, the economic team, the Obama economic team, created a hostile workplace for the women, for Christina Romer, for Anita Dunn, and for the other women?
I was, as you noted, on the foreign policy team for the first 2 years of this administration, working for a woman that I have great respect for and I think has broad respect in this White House and around the world. So my personal experience in this administration is working with strong women to get very hard jobs done.
And what about the infighting on the economic team?
I'm part of an economic team that is working very well together. I have a very close working relationship with Secretary Geithner, with Gene Sperling, with others. I think that we are tackling the hardest problems imaginable, and we're doing it as a team. I think the work done in the first 2 years of this administration was critically important to stopping an economic slide, reversing it. We are not yet at the level of growth that we want to or need to be at, but an enormous amount of very important work was done by the president and his economic team. I was obviously not part of it in the first 2 years, but they did a lot of very good work together.
Jack, if the president got almost everything that he wanted, which is, we all concede is not going to happen, there's going to be compromise, what level do you think the unemployment rate could be down to by election time next year?
Andrew, I've never been big on predicting how exactly things are going to go month to month in economic growth or unemployment rates. We know with certainty that if the actions the president proposed to Congress are taken, the American Jobs Act, it will help create jobs and create growth in our economy. That's why the president sent it to Congress and said, pass it, get it done. We have to do it. We have to do it now because the American people are expecting us to act to help create jobs in this country. I think that there's no doubt. You look at the outside experts. They have ranges. Some say 1 million, some say 2 million. It's a very meaningful impact in terms of the number of jobs. We need to get it done, and we need to get it done now.
Jack Lew, thank you very much for joining us on a very, very busy day at the White House. Thanks.